Hello, everybody. Please like this video or you'll wait in and out the door. Shout out to the Adventure Replay Gang. So sorry, I know I'm late as hell. Mom life. I can't help that. So I'm gonna do a couple things today. I wanna talk about Jill Stein and the Green Party because I see Juicy went live again, being very emotional without much facts. So I've been saying I'm going to vote. Hey, Kalia Boo. I've been saying I'm going to go for the Green Party for the start. I was going to go for Trump initially, but I just can't with that police having no right. I mean, immunity. I just don't agree with that shit. I try. I just can't. So that's my only reason. Probably the main reason I'm not doing Trump. It's the police thing. And what else I want to say? Yeah. There was some people in the comment section. Well, my friend Trini, what's up on the new management? Kind of confused as to, I guess, what my other video was about. And for some reason, when I get to the Jill Stein part, I guess you're going to see that because I think it's crazy how they saying you're throwing your vote away and sticking to two parties who you're not happy with and saying it's a lesser evil when there's a whole better candidate called Jill Stein. But I'm going to play the video before we get into the Jill Stein commentary. I'm going to first play this clip of this older lady. I guess she's at some type of Congress meeting. And then the second thing I'm going to play is, y'all probably heard of her, Makala Montgomery. And she's a Trump supporter. And she's going to vote for him. And she's speaking on, the black woman versions of what, well, I'm just taking out a little clip of that. But y'all have to see the whole interview somewhere else because it'll be too long. Okay, hold on. So this is a clip of a lady at Congress meeting, the older lady. That woman is incredible. That's true. She don't even know what race she is. If you're gonna be confused at something so basic as that, that's crazy. So anyway, let's go into this lady her Trump thing. Hold on. If you're moving to offload items or are looking for items to furnish. Then we're gonna get into Jill Stein, the top of the conversation. Online. Oh my God, it went all the way. Different structure, that they are the same structure that left the Democratic Party to come to the now Republican Party. And that's my comment. All right, Sam. Go ahead. All right, so let's start with the 1964 Civil Rights Act, or the Voting Rights Act, correct? That was all employed by Lyndon B. Johnson to get Black people to support the Democratic Party for the next 200 years. And unfortunately, the tactic worked because, much like you heard our caller say, they're still fighting for the right to vote. There's not one American citizen without a felony who does not have the right to vote. All you need is an ID, and you can go vote. He also did acknowledge the fact that while he's saying we have fake electors, we also had fake citizens going to vote in our election. So, of course, I guess we just won't talk about election integrity in that sense. Next, deployed to get Black people to vote for them for the next 200 years was a fear tactic because, again, Black people then thought that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote. And even though Ronald Reagan came in and didn't take away Black people's right to vote, for whatever reason, Democrats, every election season, get up and talk voter suppression, protect your right to vote. Black people died for the right to vote. Black people also died for the right to read. So I wish a lot of you would please go read the Willie Lynch letters. I wish a lot of you would go read more about Jim Crow and how, the systems were set up to basically make us believe that we were victims for the rest of our life. So now let's talk about the migrant issue and how it relates to the 1964 Voting Rights Act, correct? The Voting Rights Act was put in place so that Black people would be a loyal Democratic voting base. Black people are now leaving the Democratic Party. Kayla, you're saying that the only reason the Civil Rights Act was passed
Was her vote the only? No. The major portion of said legislation was the fact that it gave Black people the right to vote. Right? And Democrats touted the fact that they gave Black people the right to vote. They then used fear mongering to make Black people believe that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote and whatever other rights and resources that were granted to them by these Democrats. Correct? Now that you see Black people leaving the Democratic Party, now that you see Black people calling out the Democratic Party, now that you see Black people tired of living in the same conditions that they were in when the bill was signed, they no longer have that loyal voting base. So you know what they're doing now? Now they're opening the borders. They're letting these migrants in. They're giving them these welcome packages full of food stamps, housing assistance, whatever else that housing and clothing and whatever else it is may be that they need in order to come over here and live comfortably. Why? Because now when you have these illegal migrants coming over here, and it's clear that the Republicans are like, no, it's the now you have a new loyal voting base who's like, oh God, if we don't vote for the Democrats, we're not only going to lose our right to vote, but we're possibly going to lose our citizenship as well. It's never been a thing where we're going to do this for the betterment of the Black community or the Latino community. It's always been we're going to do this so that we can stay in power and we're going to manipulate the masses into believing that we are for them. And even though they will continue to vote for us, we will never do anything for them, but we will play on their feelings for stuff that we did 60 years ago. Okay, and Dave in Kemmerer, Wyoming, Republican. Hi, Dave.
Oh, yeah. My question is, I just want to tell her she's doing a fine job on air. Tell us how what's going on in this world, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. I appreciate her as a young woman and her knowledge of everything she does. It's wonderful to hear somebody with all her zeal and their knowledge. I thank you for that.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Jill in Maryland, Democrat. Good morning, Jill.
Yes. First, I'd like to know why she feels she has to smirk, neck roll, eye roll, and insult everybody that calls her over them. First of all, she is not that knowledgeable. She has not had experiences that other people have not had, and not come out bitter and turning on people who helped her.
I'm good. How you doing?
Proverbial crab in a barrel to pull down any.
Nala, leave that alone. That's mine. That's not yours.
Bill, do you have a specific question for Kayla?
But did she have the Chick-fil-A Trump event?
Is that the question? The answer to the question is no. I actually just got invited to meet President Trump at a restaurant, and I found out the next morning that it was Chick-fil-A, and nobody that wanted to meet him was offended by the fact that it was a Chick-fil-A, and neither was I. But to go back to the, I don't know why she smirked, why she neck rolled, while she talked over people. It's okay for you guys to get on here and call me an Uncle Tom, to call me not smart, to call me dumb, to say I haven't done my research, to say I haven't lived a life like you. But then if I smirk, if I laugh, oh my God, what is this person talking about? Now all of a sudden you're offended. I think that's very interesting. Next, to say that I'm a crab in a barrel pulling people down. Actually, how could I be pulling people down if I was in the bottom of the barrel with the rest of you crabs and I decided to crawl out? And now here I am calling out the discrepancies that I've seen in the Democratic Party and asking you, why is the hood still the hood? The hood was the hood when you were a child. The hood is still the hood now that I have a child. That's 3 generations in which the Democrats have done nothing to help you. So it sounds more like you're the crab at the bottom of the barrel trying to keep everybody down there. And I'm the crab that crawled out and I'm saying, hey, let's get back to the beach.
Caitlin, we've got a text for you from Chas in Jacksonville, Florida. It's Ms. Montgomery. You mentioned supporting ending the tax on tips.
You said it's not clear? Okay, hold on. Let me connect to the speaker. Sorry. Yeah, y'all got to tell me these things. I don't be knowing. Hold on. No problem. Let me clear this up. It gets better. And don't worry, guys. I will be sharing the link to all the videos I used. So y'all can go give them a quick interview and see the whole thing in its entirety. Copyright, fair use, please. I don't want no drama. Okay, hold on. I just bought a new speaker, so which one is this? What is the name? Okay, you know what? I think it's on. Let's see. Nyla, get away from the stove. Thank you. eat your food. Where's your cup so I can give you the juice? Okay. Hue color lamp. Okay, this is it. Okay, so I'm about to put it on speaker so everybody can be clear on everybody in. I want everybody to hear it. I don't know why. Why is he refusing to connect with this one on? Oh shit.
Florida, says Ms. Montgomery.
Is this better for you, Kalia?
Tips. Tell me.
I support our whole
I don't know why my Bluetooths are not connected.
no, yes, ending tax on tips. Yes,
Yes. And then the question is, tell me what will replace the $38 billion that would reported that helps to run the country. So how would you replace that income?
Well, we would put more on restaurant owners to actually pay their workers a living wage, and we're not going to take tax off tips. And then that money would be recouped from payroll taxes, business taxes, sale taxes, things like that. To act like the money can't be recouped from literally any other, compound is pretty interesting to me. I don't think that taxing the tips of workers who are already underpaid and therefore have to go out of their way to earn a tip from the customer should then have to pay money on that tip.
So would you support a raise in the federal minimum wage?
I think that the federal minimum wage should reflect the cost of living, but I can't say that we need to change the minimum wage until we get the economy stabilized, because minimum wage might be sufficient if inflation wasn't so high. So until we get inflation under control, I don't think we can talk about wages, because if we raise the minimum wage right now, that would only make the current situation in the economy worse. There's so many things outside of raising the minimum wage that we would have to address before we could go do something that big.
Stella, a Republican in San Diego, good morning.
Good morning. I'm grateful for the chance to say, Michaela Montgomery, you are speaking the truth. Keep speaking the truth, because people are afraid to speak it, and you're absolutely 100% correct about the things you're saying. It is so totally and completely unfair in this country. The immigration crisis, the crime, it's absolutely out of control. You can't buy groceries. People are struggling. The fact of the matter is, Kamala Harris is not coming out on television and talking about policies. She's going to hide behind the camera on a teleprompter. She's not going to speak the truth. You're speaking the truth. Doing what you're doing. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Philip in Jackson, Mississippi, Independent Line. Hi, Philip.
Hi there, young ladies.
Yeah, black people, use your option. Don't let other black people try to shame you into not voting against your best interest just because somebody, a quote unquote person of color. Y'all have to remember, all skin folks ain't kin folks. What's up, Max Boogie? Scorpio Rising. Let's create. Thank you for coming in the building. Kalia Boo, I hope you can hear it better now. I'm trying to find a Bluetooth to make. I'm trying to make it connect. Okay. Oh my! Hold on. Damn, phone's so sensitive.
All I can really understand what you're explaining to the folks that listening to the program today, you believe that pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps is the way to go, and that if you just do that, everything else will work all right.
Those words didn't come out of my mouth. I said, if you want something bad enough, you work hard for it.
That's the perception I've.
The reality is what I said. But go ahead.
No, wait, hold on. Michaela, just clarify what you said.
I said that if you want something bad enough, you will work towards it. That does not mean that you will not receive outside help. That does not mean that somebody won't come along and give you a hand up, not a hand out. That does not mean that you have to do it completely on your own. But the fact of the matter is, you will dedicate your time, you will dedicate your resources, you will dedicate your life. creating a better situation for yourself. Okay, that's what go ahead with your comment.
Okay. Now, what I wanted to really ask her was, before coming up, because she named that she sees as a leader in the Black community that she believes in. And my final question would be, and does she listen or take into account some of the teachings of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and Malcolm X in terms of self-improvement in the Black community?
What was the first part of the question? I know the second part about Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan. Well, what was the first part? Okay, so Malcolm X is actually one of the greatest people I think ever to touch this planet. I actually have by any means necessary tattooed on my back. And that speaks, if you want something bad enough, you're going to get it by any means necessary. Additionally, to question my support for the conservative party, as if Malcolm X wasn't a conservative himself, is quite interesting. Malcolm X preached that blue-eyed white liberals were the Black community's biggest enemy. And yet here you guys are touting blue-eyed white liberals, or people who are, you know, a Black woman who's the face, but of course, you know, will be controlled by blue-eyed white liberals. It's very interesting to me that the Malcolm X enthusiasts, or even the Martin Luther King enthusiasts, would act like our leaders were not preaching these things to us 60, 70 years ago.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
The question was, can I identify any Black leaders that we have currently in the community? Unfortunately, all of our leaders have been assassinated. Anybody who was going to get us to go against the grain, go against the status quo, to question our current economy, to question our current living situations, to question the conditions in which Black people live. Anybody who put up a fight against that was assassinated.
That part. So that was a Black woman Trump supporter. I agree with everything she said. Now on to the women of the hour. I found some good video clips. These are receipts from her mouth. I don't like to paraphrase because I feel like a lot of people, they want to be willfully ignorant. They don't want to see the talk. They don't want to see the truth. They much rather do ad hominems or try to attack me, make it about Trump, whatever. So that's why when I'm doing certain topics, I like you to hear from the person's mouth. Okay. And it's funny because like what she said is so true. Hold on. Now this is Jill Stein. She's calling out both parties. Hey, Captain Queen. Oh, good. This is even louder too.
The Kamala Harris campaign has become increasingly negative toward third-party candidates, even running an attack ad against Green Party candidate Jill Stein. It's the view of Democrats, the defenders of democracy, that any vote for Jill Stein is in fact the same thing as a vote for Trump. Stein is polling at 1% in some northern swing states, and that could end up being the margin of victory for the winning candidate in a state like Michigan, where uncommitted voters and many Arab Americans are not happy with either Harris or Trump or Joe Biden and his policies, for that matter. Here now to discuss is none other than Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. Welcome back to Rising.
Oh yeah, for those I know, she was a doctor, a real doctor.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much. Good to see you, Robbie.
It's great to see you, and we wanted to give you an opportunity to respond to so many of these attacks now coming from Democrats, really focused on you. What do you say to the Democrat who contends that if anyone votes for you, they are voting for Donald Trump?
Well, you know, that's BS, can I say, and the American people think that that's BS. The American
Sure
people
do. The smart ones.
for other
Yes, ma'am. What do you want?
election, going into this election, Gallup poll showed
You want more of this?
60% of Americans were really hungry for another major party, another choice, because the two major parties have done such an important job of serving the American people. You know, Americans are struggling in virtually every dimension of our lives. You know, on healthcare, crisis of housing, with half of Americans struggling to make their monthly, you know, their monthly rent or mortgage, and, you know, the incredible student debt and medical debt and a climate crisis that's going, you know, bonkers right now. We don't have money
for FEMA to assist really, people who've been hit very hard in devastated communities. But that amount of money, some $9 billion approximately, was just given to Israel and Bibi Netanyahu for the purpose of expanding his war, his genocidal war, and so on. The American people want other choices. And so many Muslims in particular do not want to cast a vote that endorses genocide. So the American people are entitled to other choices, and they're also entitled to a debate. And I would say bring it on, because the more Democrats draw attention to the fact that there are other choices, and there is a public interest choice, which is not bought and paid for by the usual big donors and Wall Street and the war machine, the more that people see that they actually have other choices, the more excited and enthusiastic people are to support our campaign. Just look at the comments, on that yesterday, or on Breakfast Club, or the live Q&A session done with Newsweek. These are not green audiences, but overwhelmingly the comments are very much in support of our campaign. So many of them saying they weren't voting for in this election, and now they are going out to register pretty in the hand vote for Steinway.
I just wanted to hone in on one of the issues you mentioned there, Dr. Stein, because, of course, very recently at the weekend, we had Lloyd Austin and Tony Blinken writing this letter that purported to suggest that the administration could consider cutting off arms to Israel if it didn't increase the supply of humanitarian aid to Gaza. But, of course, the deadline for that was beyond the date of the presidential election. What did you make of that letter and that proposal?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. President Biden said basically the same thing before the major offensive against Rafah at the southern border of Gaza. He said the same thing, that if there was a destructive, intense invasion and a lot of civilian deaths in Rafah, that there would be consequences in terms of the weapon supply, and there were absolutely none. The Biden-Harris administration has had no red line whatsoever, and most recently they rewarded Israel with billions more when it began extending this genocidal war into Lebanon, where people are being devastated and killed now by the thousands, with essentially the same kind of carpet bombing campaign that's begun. That's been taking place in Gaza. The destruction has also extended to the West Bank. There's now a major initiative that's pending towards Iran as well. So, we're seeing massive expansion of this war. It's basically Bibi Netanyahu's war. He's been given the freedom, basically, to set U.S. foreign policy here in a very dangerous and risky setting. He's been allowed to do that without red lines, without any consequences. This is already violating U.S. laws, 3 of them, which say that the U.S. may not provide military support to any country that is interfering with the delivery of humanitarian aid, that is violating human rights, and that stands in violation of nuclear weapons treaties, which Israel is, in violating the non-proliferation treaty. So there are reasons right here and now why it is absolutely illegal, not to mention that it defies the vast majority of the American people who've gone on record saying, way back in November, the American people were already convinced they had seen quite enough of this horrific genocide. Recently it's been pointed out that Israeli soldiers, the IDF, purposely shoot children in the head, and we're seeing, young children brought into emergency rooms, basically, on the verge of death from this campaign to assassinate children. So, this is a horrible war. The American people vehemently oppose it, and it is a dereliction of duty for the White House to have passed the baton for commander-in-chief over to Bibi Netanyahu. They need to end this genocidal war right now.
Here's why I think it's so hard to take many Democrats seriously when they say that democracy itself is existential in this election, but then propose delegitimizing tactics against third-party candidates.
Exactly.
Even though they're perfectly willing. Tim Walz said recently, for instance, he wants to abolish the Electoral College. With the reason being they think it's an unfair advantage to Republicans. So my point being, Democrats are happy to propose sweeping changes to the constitutional system. So they could propose, for instance, to neutralize the threat of third parties playing a spoiler effect. They could propose ranked choice voting, whereas if the first candidate, does not get the plurality of votes, then the vote automatically goes to the second choice candidate. So you can have it where somebody's first vote is for Jill Stein, but if you don't get 51% of the vote, or however it works, then that vote goes to Kamala Harris. So you're not stealing that vote if that's indeed how people are thinking. But I never hear them proposing that. So how can I take it seriously?
My bad, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep medicine. I'm multitasking, y'all.
So.
Hold on, guys. I'm multitasking. So she's basically in this video, short but sweet, this is going to help y'all not do the fear tactic that the Democratic Party and probably the Republicans too are trying to do on y'all, because they really scared of her policies and how much sense it makes. Like, I don't know why more Americans are not getting behind her. I mean, obviously a great deal is, and we got to also remember she has been the nominee for the past 3 years. So she's been consistent. Her party has consistently supported her as well, unlike the other two candidates.
But I never hear them proposing that. So how can I take it seriously?
Exactly. In fact, they do just the opposite. And ranked choice voting, to explain it very simply, it's a little oversimplified. You get to rank your choices instead of just voting for one, kind of calculating your odds and making a roll of the dice. Your vote should not be a roll of the dice. Your vote should be a statement about, where you want to go. If your vote is not a statement about where you want to go and what your values are, that you oppose genocide, that you want to spend our tax dollars. Right now, half of our congressional budget is being spent on the endless war machine, one catastrophic war after another, especially in the Middle East. If you want those dollars to be spent here at home, addressing our urgent needs to support small businesses, for healthcare as a human right for everyone, for affordable housing, to deal with the climate crisis. If you want to spend our dollars on our urgent needs here at home, you can cast that vote as number one in ranked choice voting, and you can cast your safety vote if you think there is a lesser evil here, and good luck figuring out which one it is. You can make your number two choice your lesser evil choice. But the point is, there is a record. And also the way that this works is in ranked choice voting, if your first choice doesn't win on the first count of the majority of the vote, then your vote is automatically reassigned to your second choice. So you're never throwing your vote away. You never have to worry about a divided vote or unintended consequences of the vote. And you have to record your vote if you ever want to move us forward. Otherwise, there is no evidence that there is opposition to genocide, or that there is a deeply felt need for healthcare as a human right. We need to be able to say what it is we want in this election. And the Democrats not only do not support ranked choice voting, they actively fight it. They've been testing it because they rely on fear campaigning.
Exactly.
They want to extort your vote. Why do they rely on fear? Because they want to serve their big donors. And if they're serving their big donors, they can't talk about healthcare as a human right, or they can't talk about supporting small businesses and breaking up, the big corporate conglomerates through antitrust laws, or affordable housing and a major initiative to build public housing, so-called social housing, and actually meet our urgent needs. They don't want to talk about that because they want to basically keep pleasing their big donors. They are bought and paid for. They have delivered a political system that is bought and paid for, and the American people deserve other choices. And before I forget, I just want to mention JillStein2024.com. You can find out more there and hear about what it is that the Democrats are absolutely terrified that you should find out about in this election.
Dr. Stein, we just have time for one more question quickly. I take many of the points that you make about bad faith arguments and so forth being made. But, you know, when you talk about, for example, healthcare or housing, many people who aren't operating in bad faith think that Donald Trump would work with those issues than Kamala Harris. I understand seeing there's an imperative to give people an alternative view, that you're very opposed to the genocide and all of that. I understand many of these will belong. But does it give you any pause the possibility that your candidacy might, in effect, make a second Trump term?
Both candidates give me pause. And let me just tell you what one of the most realistic risks right now, one of the biggest and devastating and catastrophic risks, is that Israel goes ahead and does what it says. That it's going to attack Iran. It will probably attack nuclear facilities in Iran. Could Russia be brought in? Yes, they certainly could, and they have expressed, their support. They're in a military alliance with Iran. I'm actually, frankly, very concerned about the potential for another. We're already in an expanding and catastrophic Middle East war, and it's on the verge of expanding right now, thanks to the efforts of Bibi Netanyahu to generalize this war, and thanks to the support of the Biden-Harris administration, which they have expressed across the board. Would Trump do the same thing? Yeah, probably he would. So, in my view, we need to stand up and vote right now to avert a catastrophe. And remember, the draft is back. The draft is back. If you're between 18 and 25, you are registered. You don't know a thing about it, but you have been automatically registered and they know how to find you. And all it takes is for the White House to declare that we're now in another wartime situation. Biden has already expressed a commitment to send boots on the ground, and they have begun doing so. There are many soldiers, some 40,000 that are in the Middle East, and there are 5,000 servicemen and women with each of the aircraft carrier battle groups, and there are 2 of them right now. In that region, and there are more that are going right now in order to so-called defend Israel. So, the whole draft could be reactivated. I'm as frightened about that right now. This isn't some future thing. This is right now. We have fascism here right now when you have Democrats supporting the IDF, training our local police forces to cop cities, the suppression of speech, to we for Donald Trump, for the catastrophe to be here right now. It's important that we stand up for the values and for the democratic rights that we deserve. We can create an America that works for all of us, but we got to stand up and demand it right now.
We at Rising so much believe in platforming other voices, doing what the mainstream media has failed to do in terms of letting you hear from the other candidates. That's why the day after the Biden-Trump debate, we had on RFK Jr. and Chase Oliver, the Libertarian Party candidate, and of course, Dr. Stein. And we were happy to welcome you back today. Thanks so much for being with us.
So what's so bad about what she got going on? And like I said, it's all about your personal needs. And people are sitting here telling me, oh, if Trump can open work, like, first of all, that's just so dumb. But anyway, like I said, look at her policies, see if it works out for you. And you see the Democrats, while they are making an argument that you wasting your vote by voting for who you like and who has your best intention. I feel like she got my best intentions in mind. So they don't want to do that. Why they voting against that system that allows, like if she doesn't get a certain amount of votes, why not use that system? Okay, I voted for her first, and then the people that split, because she's getting both votes. That's what most people that vote for her don't want either. Or they like her policies better and they want to support another party, so we don't always have to go through this every election. Maybe that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And if they really wanted fairness, why not vote that in? If your main argument is that, oh, you're wasting, they're trying to make y'all think you're wasting your vote by voting for her. So why not have that system in place if that was your main concern? Like she said, they're depending on, and like the black lady told y'all earlier, they using the same tactics on y'all that they use on your great parents, and y'all not even under those conditions. And that's really playing in your face and saying how they feel about you. You know what I'm saying? They never do nothing for you, these people. So I don't get it. I gotta hide this because she's doing too much. All right. Now get away from the stove. So let me go to the other video I had really quickly. And thanks everybody. Cloud Baby Sue. Make sure y'all hit this like button. Okay. Another one. Okay, this is the other one I was looking for. So I just wanted you guys to hear from her because, like they said, apparently the media doesn't. And why not? Is she talking crazy or is she talking right? You see what I'm saying? Like I said, look at all your options.
Well, as people wake up
Oh, no,
to
it's not this
our
one. Hold on.
campaign. In fact, the Democrats who have tried from the very start to throw us off the ballot. Okay, so you talked about the core issue for so many voters who you've talked to, and that is Israel's war in Gaza and the growing and expanding of that war.
Okay. I want to do the Israel thing is like a hot topic. I know, but I just want y'all to have
2024. But who is Jill Stein?
I just want y'all to have an overall idea about who this lady is, what she represents, what she's trying to do. And like I said, just see if it aligns with you. And like I said, her party has consistently backed her. Okay? Consistently. Nobody else and that's running right now can say that.
And what does she stand for? Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman, and welcome to Illustrate to Educate. In this video, we'll take an informative look at the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, and her platform, including the economy, healthcare, social issues, and so much more. First, who is Jill Stein? Jill Stein, born on May 14th, 1950, is an American physician, activist, and politician. She was the Green Party's nominee for president in the 2012 and 2016 elections and ran for governor of Massachusetts in 2002 and 2010 under the Green Rainbow Party. Stein is currently running for president in the 2024 election. Her presidential campaigns have prominently featured the Green New Deal, focusing on climate change, income inequality, and civil and political rights reform. In her previous runs, Stein received 469,050 votes in 2012 and 1.45 million votes in 2016. Now let's take a look at her platform, starting with the economy. Jill Stein's campaign focuses on creating an economy that benefits working people rather than the wealthy elite. She proposes an economic bill of rights, ensuring access to a living wage job, livable income, housing, healthcare, childcare, education, retirement security, utilities, healthy food, and clean water. Her administration plans to create benefits for households earning below the median income and strengthen Social Security by eliminating tax caps for the wealthy. Additionally, Stein aims to guarantee affordable utilities through public ownership, provide free high-speed internet, and transform large banks into public utilities to prevent financial monopolies. Her administration plans to introduce a $25 minimum wage indexed to inflation and productivity, guarantee livable incomes above poverty levels, and ensure housing as a human right. Next is healthcare. Stein emphasizes the need for a comprehensive healthcare reform in the U.S., noting that despite high expenditures, the country has poor health outcomes, including low life expectancy and high rates of chronic diseases. She highlights the insurance industry's profiteering and the inadequate access to healthcare that led to significant excess deaths during the COVID-19 pandemic. Stein's platform declares healthcare as a human right, advocating for a universal healthcare system that is free at the point of service. Her administration plans to implement national improved Medicare for all, cancel medical debt, and advance reproductive rights. Jill Stein's platform asserts that U.S. democracy is failing, with a government dominated by corporate elites rather than the people's will. To restore true democracy, she advocates for a range of reforms aimed at empowering citizens and ensuring fair representation. Key proposals include implementing ranked choice voting and proportional representation to dismantle the two-party system, overturning Citizens United, and abolishing corporate personhood through a constitutional amendment. Stein also supports public financing of elections to eliminate private money's corrupting influence and aims to abolish the Electoral College in favor of a national popular vote. Now let's look at social issues. Stein emphasizes the need for comprehensive social justice reforms to address systemic discrimination and inequities faced by various marginalized groups in the U.S. Her platform includes support for the Equality Act, prohibiting discrimination against the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, and enacting measures to protect their rights. She advocates for inclusive public education, housing relief for the 2S LGBTQIA+ youth, and ending harmful practices like conversion therapy. For the disability community, Stein proposes expanding Social Security benefits, updating the Americans with Disabilities Act, and ensuring accessible technology and education. Her administration also aims to end disparities in pay and benefits, defend civil liberties, and provide economic opportunities for people with disabilities. She advocates for the full legalization of cannabis and the decriminalization of drug possession, viewing drug misuse as a health issue rather than a criminal one.
Commercial. Yes.
Rather than a criminal one. Next is women's rights. Jill Stein is committed to establishing and safeguarding comprehensive women's rights, recognizing them as human rights. Her administration will aim to codify these rights and ensure that they are protected against ongoing threats from extremist groups. Key initiatives include publishing the Equal Rights Amendment, passing the Paycheck Fairness Act to eliminate wage discrimination, and enacting the Violence Against Women Act of 2021. Stein also plans to ensure that domestic abusers cannot own or purchase firearms, federally fund and expedite rape kit testing, and codify Roe v. Wade to secure full reproductive rights and bodily autonomy for women. Additionally, her administration will fund free birth control and menstruation products, repeal restrictive legislation like the Hyde Amendment, and decriminalize sex work to protect vulnerable populations. Jill Stein's immigration policy centers on the principle that immigrants' rights are human rights, recognizing their significant contributions to the United States amid persistent exploitation and discrimination. Her administration will overhaul the current immigration system, emphasizing ethical, transparent, and dignified paths to citizenship. This includes abolishing Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and replacing it with an Office of Citizenship, Refugees, and Immigration Services under the Department of Labor. Stein plans to redirect ICE funding to processing centers offering housing, work, and healthcare resources. She advocates for repealing restrictive immigration laws, granting amnesty to undocumented individuals, and expediting visa petition processes to minimize family separation. Now let's look at climate and energy. Approach to is rooted in an urgent and comprehensive real Green New Deal aimed at transitioning to 100% clean energy and zero emissions by 2035. She highlights the failures of current climate policies, advocating for a more radical shift away from fossil fuels and corporate interests. Her administration would declare a climate emergency, utilizing presidential powers to expedite climate action and fund renewable energy projects, creating millions of union jobs in the process. Stein plans to ban fracking, phase out nuclear power, and end fossil fuel subsidies, while prioritizing investments in renewable energy infrastructure and public ownership of the energy sector. Lastly, let's look at foreign policy. Jill Stein's foreign policy emphasizes diplomacy, international law, and human rights, aiming to dismantle the military-industrial complex that fuels global conflict and domestic impoverishment. Her administration will end existing wars, cut military spending by up to 75%, and reinvest in a global Green New Deal to combat climate change and ensure basic human needs are met worldwide. Stein plans to close the majority of the 700-plus foreign U.S. military bases, cease support for human rights abusers, and lead global nuclear disarmament efforts. She advocates for ending economic sanctions that harm civilian populations and disbanding NATO in favor of an inclusive security framework. Stein's administration will also prioritize veterans programs and benefits, ensuring support for military service members transitioning to civilian life. Did you find this video about Jill Stein to be helpful? If so, be sure to like.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and vote for Jill. That's what I'm talking about. So, this is what you want? So, I just want you guys to see, you don't have to go for a lesser evil. You could actually go for what's right. and who got the people best interest at heart, you know? And we already told y'all proof. She has she created a solution to them complaints about them thinking like them anybody voting for her is wasting their vote. Why not just let that other option be there? If she doesn't get enough votes, then your vote will automatically go to the second person you chose. Because it's not like she don't got people from different parties voting for her. So some people's second choice would be Trump. Some people's second choice would be Kamala. But at the end of the day, she has been consistent and she has been good at her job. She earned all her up. I'm sorry. She earned all her you know, child, my mind is stuck. But she's really, really good. I just wanted you guys to know who Jill Stein was. So y'all don't be sitting there letting the Democrats tell y'all, trying to, you know, make y'all vote for them and shit. Why don't they let their policies or their plans be the reason and let Jill Stein keep doing her thing? And anybody that wants to vote for Jill Stein, because I am. I'm glad you did too. So you guys, before I go though, let me show you. I gotta show y'all my Dollar Tree finds. I found some two cute things I want y'all to know about. Hold on. One I'm trying now. I'll let you guys know how it came out. It's a laundry thing, but hold on. They got a garlic crusher at Dollar Tree now, y'all. I was like, what? I should have bought two in case it broke, but now that I think about it, I still do. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Here it is. Oh, and I had to wind up taking I called Lyft from Dollar Tree. Why the guy picked me up in a brand? He said it was the brand new Tesla that just came out. Because I'm telling him to open the door. I can't open the door. I'm like, why the hell can I open the door? They doors, you got to push the handle and then the door opens. That car was so nice. Let me find out. Lyft drivers be gotten it like that. Yeah, he says it's the brand new one. Okay. Let me show my camera the right way. I took a little video. I'm gonna put it on my shorts. I was like, can I film your car? He's like, sure. It was so nice. Okay, guys. I tried this out. I don't know if y'all seen this one. I never seen this one. And I also look garlic press. Let's open it. Hold on. Y'all can see how Dollar Tree stepping it up. Let me find out. So yeah, that's all I want to show you guys. Remember, stay informed and do what's best for you. You don't have to go with two evils. You can go with what's right for you. I'm about to put these clothes in the dryer. So we can go start our dinner and stuff. See you guys later. Hope you've been informed. And vote for Miss Jill. Later, you guys. Chef kisses. Have a happy Sunday. I don't know if I'll see y'all on these YouTube streets tonight, but definitely tomorrow.